Alright guys, my name is Caleb Letkowitz, and my project is looking at a sitcom's approach as a critical incident. Now there was a number of sitcoms I could have chosen, but I looked at Blackish, specifically Season 2, Episode 16, titled Hope. Now to test this as a critical incident, first we need to state that the producers never released anything saying that this episode was a response to the Trayvon Martin case. However, I would make the claim that it works as a critical incident in response to this case for a number of reasons. First off, Trayvon Martin was killed on February 26, 2012, and the episode was released on February 22nd, 2016. Now, to release the episode in such an emotionally charged time, 4 days before the death anniversary of Trayvon Martin, I believe society would not allow the episode to not function as a critical incident in response to Trayvon Martin's death. Moreover, there are instances of visual memorial rhetorics in which Trayvon Martin is specifically mentioned in the episode to sort of bolster this idea that this episode works in response to the Trayvon Martin case. It takes an initial incident and it permits viewers to see it in a different way. Now, the episode uses a lot of memorial rhetorics, which are very important to the episode, and I believe we need to differentiate that memorial rhetorics are not looking to cause empathy within a viewer. It's not wanting you to feel the pain that these black individuals are feeling in the episode, because we can't. We are dominated by societal whiteness. We are not black, so memorial rhetorics are more so trying to cause us to remember events and to accept that those events did in fact happen and start discussions into how we can change these things. So the episode works as a critical incident in response to Trayvon Martin, but it also works as a wonderful visual archive because there's a number of other critical incidents that are presented within the episode. So if you're interested in seeing a visual archive within a sitcom, I highly recommend watching this episode. So what is our wicked problem that I'm looking at? Really, it boils down to a sense of racial superiority, and that can be even, constricted to being racial superiority in the sense that people have they feel that they have the power to choose who deserves life or freedom and who deserves death or punishment. Those that deserve life both need to accept and be accepted by a national sense of whiteness, while those that deserve death or punishment need to either be denied by national whiteness or deny national whiteness as a societal entity. The narrative behind this assumption characterizes whites as innocent, a powerful metaphor, and blacks as what? Presumably the opposite of innocent, namely guilty. So this quote by Delgado sort of reiterizes this black-white binary concept that whiteness tends to equal racial superiority and the power to choose, whereas blacks are, they're already deemed guilty. They're deemed the opposite of whiteness. So unless they are accepted and accept whiteness as the general consensus of the nation, then they are ultimately going to be positioned in a spot where they deserve death or punishment by the general masses. This is a quote by Kenya Barris. She's the creator, or she's the writer of Blackish. Most important one here that I believe is that last paragraph where it says, "Black rights are human rights." And this continued injustice impacts all of us. So while we hope these episodes can bring your families together in watching and learning, the real hope is that it inspires you to join us in demanding liberty and justice for all, once and for all. This kind of ties back with my idea of memorial rhetorics that Kenya Barris, the writer, is not asking for you to feel empathy towards these characters and the events. She's asking you to look at what's happening, to remember these episodes, to remember these events, to remember Trayvon Martin, and to accept that these actions did in fact happen, and we need to change this. We need to learn, as she says. We need to join in demanding liberty. Now, the episode has a three-part rhetorical argument that favors social change, particularly in violence that is associated with people of power, officers, law systems, even vigilantes. First, we go through an introduction of hopelessness. So the episode starts with a collage of visually rhetorical images of past incidents. And by starting the episode with these images, it forces us to see that racism is not hidden in the margins. It's publicized and ignored by creating a collage of racial violence, lynchings, riots in Miami, the case of Michael Brown, and even ending and with a focal point on Trayvon Martin, which only reiterizes the idea that Trayvon Martin is the initial incident that this is a critical case of. By creating this collage of visuals, it sort of forces us, it offers an understanding of an ingrained social issue. It makes us see that this has happened time and time again in our past. We've merely ignored it. It's hidden in the margins, and, and we have just ignored the cases that have been transpiring all our lives. After that initial introduction with visuals, we have a breakdown of the black-white binary, which is the center point of the episode's argument. So first, it deals with the family location. Typically in the Blackish episodes, it jumps between Dre's work, Andre's school, Beau's work. It jumps all over the place. But this entire episode is situated within one single room, the living room. The room where families get together, the room that is typically associated with a white family. We can look at sitcoms such as That 70s Show or even The Simpsons, where we have this family that sits in the living room for the majority of the episode, and we come to associate living rooms with whiteness. Moreover, the episode is multi-generational. We have everything from little Jack all the way up to his grandparents. We have the entire family situated within this one single room. And between those two, between the entire generational bit of the family, and they're all located in one room, more similarities are created between whiteness and the black family on the screen, to the point that the black-white binary becomes constricted to where we can't really see the racial dissimilarities. We only see the similarities. The last key point in the breakdown of this binary is Rainbow Johnson herself. Rainbow is a black woman that was adopted and raised by a white family. So she carries the white ideal. She believes that the police are good, that, you know, there's more bad people doing this than a systemic error. But at the same time, she also is black, so she has to feel the pain, and she sees the suffering that the people of her skin color are going through. So she represents as a symbol of that black-white binary. Finally, the episode, the black-white binary coincides with the counterstory for the general idea that the police are here to protect us. And this is done, if you would be so kind to watch this video. I don't want to watch it because it would take up too much of our time. But general idea is that the police are here to protect us. And we have this quote here from Golden Enoch that says, "Slaves were made to manage their emotional responses to traumatic events, to spare their oppressors discomfort." So as long as we have a black society that manages their emotional responses, we can disassociate them from ourselves. But as you would see in this clip, Dre is extremely emotionally charged. The whole family is distraught, and by not managing their emotional responses, coupled with the breakdown of the black-white binary, they are created with so many similarities to us that their fear of the police becomes our fear of the police, and the breakdown of the binaries becomes our counterstory. If their fear of the police if we ignore their fear of police and we stick to the universal acceptance that police are here to protect, their fear becomes invalidated, and then they lose all sense of voice that they have. With the binary breakdown, the counterstory to the critical incident and wicked problem is created. They are one and the same. Now, of course, like I mentioned, there's any number of critical incidents that I could have gone with, any number of sitcoms. A couple of my favorite ones are the one on the left. We've got The Simpsons, Lisa and her mom talking about, maintaining the status quo for the wealthy elite is the purpose of the police. Wonderful resource to look at. We also have multiple instances of Family Guy. The one on the top is a direct response to the Trayvon Martin case. in which Peter shoots his neighbor for believing him to be a hoodlum. We've got the bottom one where Peter is pulled over and he, gets presented with a literal representation of the race binary, top half being okay because you are white, bottom half not being okay because you are black. These were all considerations for my project. Lastly, if you have any questions, here's a link to my annotated bibliography. It will also be in my MyLeo post. So if you have any questions on where I got my resources, that's where you'd find that, as well as many others that deal with sitcoms and the use of racialized violence that is presented within sitcoms as a critical incident. Thank you so much. Had a great semester.